We very much want to see that seamless sense between like campus, downtown, and even the neighborhoods. Communities, Kent is, one of the charm of Kent is the fact that it has historic quality housing, it has historic parts of downtown, but like anything historic, it's not just about being old, it's got to be, the quality's got to be there. So like a lot of the older cities, we're faced with some of those challenges of some of the older housing stock. But what we're seeing is, very incrementally, but you'll see one house do it, another house. People are going out back into those older neighborhoods, buying up the houses and turning them back into what they were, 50, 60 years ago, which is a really exciting thing to see because it becomes, a lot of that's in our gateways into our community, and you start to see that transformation. So that to me is one of the things I want to see more of. We want to see some of that home ownership return. We've lost, the level of home ownership has dropped in this community to the point where just about 70% of our housing is rental. And that's a little higher than what we would like it to be. We'd like to see that come down a little bit. You can understand why. The market forces are, you've got 23,000 students up on campus, they need a place to live. And of course, Kent's got a lot of qualities what they like about it, so they choose to live here. But from our perspective, we need to be able to pull in some of the younger families again, make sure that next generation of Kent is coming along and being developed, because those are not just the people that are doing business here, but those are the future leaders of the community. So it's important to make sure you don't lose that base. So neighborhoods are important. The connectivity between campus and downtown is another area that we're very focused on. It's not unusual in university cities to have sort of this ring around campus of some of the lower quality housing, and some of it gets blighted. So we're working on those issues. I mean, there's no question that we'd like to see more in the neighborhoods that separate us between the campus and here, make it easier for students to get downtown. Very much trying to shift the focus from vehicular traffic to biking, walking. City spending a lot of money building bike trails. The university is doing the same on campus. They got that wonderful esplanade. We want to carry a lot of that stuff, carry a lot of the street furniture that they use on campus into downtown, so that you have this sense, as soon as you arrive in Kent, you know you're in a college community, you know you're in a community that has a lot going for it, and that's kind of what those are a few of the little pieces. Economically, we want to see more of we've done pretty well in the service industry, small service businesses, but I think we still are underserved in the tech business area. There's a lot of technology coming off campus that we should be able to take greater advantage of here. And so we're looking at that and how we can cultivate that market, pulling together a lot of the corporate CEOs. We meet periodically, we meet about quarterly, and we talk about what's going on for them in their industries, what can the city do to do more for them, and likewise, what's on their plans and how can we position ourselves if they're going to grow, they're going to expand, that they stay here in Kent. So we're working all those kind of angles all the time. We've got other fun stuff. I mean, I've talked a little bit more about the serious stuff, but I think there's some great opportunities with the river behind me. We've kind of looked at what other cities have done, and it's really exciting when you look at some of these whitewater parks that have been built, and the fact that we have, one of 11, I think, of the nation's historic rivers that was designated by the federal government. So let's take advantage of that asset. It's got good flow conditions. It's got a wonderful view. Of course, the beer truck. So we're trying to bring more of that sort of quality of life stuff, that getting people back in touch with the river, access to the river, get some enjoyment in the river, whether it's walking along the edge, along a trail, jumping in a canoe or jumping in a kayak. We want to make sure it's open and accessible. We think that's a big draw that really could be a particular niche that Kent serves that really isn't that well served in our region. So, and of course you throw in, the interesting thing about Kent, and I'm still new enough that I don't know all the history, but it had quite a music history in its day. This was a pretty active town for music. While there is still a lot of the bar scene here, a lot of the live music has gone elsewhere, and so it's been exciting recently to see some of the bars are bringing that back, and we're trying to recapture some of that musical scene that was so prevalent in Kent. We've got the Kent Stage, and of course they bring sort of those non-pop acts. It's what I like about Kent is it's not the Q, and it's not the big auditoriums. We're a much more intimate venue, even whether it's out here on the plaza. We do a lot on the plaza, and of course up on the Kent State. Smaller venues, smaller bands, smaller musicians that are a little bit off mainstream, and that's kind of what I like, and I think that's, again, a particular thing about Kent that I think other people like. It's a little offbeat, and it's not, you can't fake that. You're either offbeat or you're not, and we're offbeat, and we ought to take advantage of that. Kind of embrace the fact that, yeah, there's probably a bunch of aging hippies here and new age hippies. So, but that's part of who we are, and that's one of the reasons I like to be here.